Hey guys, it's PowerGuy1030. Today I'm just going to be showing you guys how I prime some of my stars. These are Veline Red stars that have not been primed, and here's a few that have been. These just have a black powder prime on them. It's just meal powder with a little bit of dextrin, and they're not perfect, but they do have some rough edges, which is perfect for what we're looking for, so we have good ignition. So these were actually pumped. Here's one that's still pretty large. These were actually most of them are a little longer than this, and the burn rate was way too long for the shells I was going to be using, so I actually took just a razor blade and cut these down. Some of them were too short to cut in half by width, so I cut them in half lengthwise. So it actually worked. Only one star broke apart. So these ones are really dry and rock hard, so they should work great. And I'm gonna weigh the stars that I'm priming so we can measure our composition for prime. So tear. Okay, so we got about 70 grams here. Get under the camera. 68.8. So I'm gonna make, let's see, about 15 to 20 grams of prime for these. So we'll just be using meal powder. Here's my meal powder. So I'm going to measure out 15 grams. It's a little over. About 16 grams of meal powder there. I'm going to take my dextrin. And we'll measure out about a gram. That's reading 1.1, so that is just fine. It's a little more than I'd like, but it should do the trick. So now I'm going to take my screen, and we'll just screen the dextrin in with the black powder. I'll screen it one more time. Doesn't have to be mixed like crazy. There's a rice hole from the meal coated rice holes I was making last. So that screen only touches black powder. Alright, so we got that. I'm gonna take, this was the container that I primed my stars in here. I'm gonna just do about half of them at a time so they get nice and coated. And now I'm going take my spray bottle, which has mostly water, and there's a little bit of alcohol. I don't want to use too much because these stars are red gum, and I don't want the red gum to start dissolving too much, so spray. Okay, so those are starting to get nice and wet. So we'll sprinkle in a little bit of black powder. I always end up having to scrape this. Try not to agitate the stars too much. I don't want to start breaking them down, but I do want to get them nice and coated. And when they start to look a little dusty like that, we can add a little bit more water to the mix. There we go. Now you can see they're getting shiny again, so we'll go ahead and add another layer of black powder. Some people like to prime their stars after they've been pumped or rolled or cut while they're still wet. I don't do that for one reason, and that's when I pump these stars, I almost use no water at all, and I don't know if that black powder is really gonna stick. I don't know if the dextrin's really gonna get activated by the amount of water that's already on the stars, and I don't want to wet them any more than I have to. So this is the way that I do it, and it's been working pretty well. So I'm gonna do one more layer of prime. You can see most of them are pretty well covered, except some of them have a little bit of star still showing through. So alright, I think we could do one more layer. I'm still seeing a little bit of stars that haven't been really fully coated in there, so I might need to make some more prime mix. I always like to do these in smaller batches so we get all the stars covered instead of a few stars covered, you know, and the rest not, so. Those look pretty good. So we'll just pick them up and kind of inspect a few of them. That one I don't see any star composition showing through. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on the drying screen. And then we'll start the next batch of stars. Try to be kind of gentle with these because the prime can come off pretty easily before these are fully dried. They don't have to be perfect. I mean, I do see some of them that have a little bit of brownish red poking through, but like that one right there. Sometimes it will create more of a rough edge though, and that's what we're looking for. You want that rough edge, you know, so the grains of black powder will burn and then transfer fire to the star. And these are Veline Red, so they're a perchlorate based star, which they light pretty easily with a lighter, but out of a star gun, I'm not really getting any of them lighting. So after priming them, I haven't had one blow blind, so we will see how they perform inside of a shell. There is a specified prime for the Veline stars, a Veline Super Prime, but I didn't have the required chemicals for that, which it calls for, I believe, potassium dichromate and silicon powder, which I don't have, and I didn't really want to order it, so we will see how these work. Let's see, got our stars. I'm going to move this off to the side and we'll prime the next layer. Okay. Let me take our tray. Stars. Give a little bit of moisture. A lot of what happens is it just sticks to the bottom here, so I always end up scraping that. I think I used a little bit more water than I did last time. This container is not really the best for what I'm doing, but it does work. I think a round bucket would probably work a little bit better. So, more water. Look at those. Looking pretty good. They could use, there's a few that have a little bit more priming that they need to do. So spray those very lightly. And I think just add another layer. Okay, let's check this out. That one looks good. I think these are going to be usable at this point. We'll do one more layer. This prime here. Those are done. So let's grab our screen. I think I did a little bit better job priming the second batch of stars. Because now that I'm looking at the first ones, I see quite a few that have open spaces on them that haven't been quite primed yet. So I could, once that dries, I could just go ahead and put another layer of black powder dextrin on there. I think that's what I'll do. always a shame to launch a show and have half of the stars not work, or even worse, all the stars not work. Well, I think the rest of this is just black powders. Yep. So let's. We could push that through a screen and granulate it, but I think I'm just gonna scoop all that up and press it into a little black powder puck. And that's pretty much it, guys. We just wait for those to dry. Usually they take about a day or two. Depends on the weather, but I mean, these are the first batch of primed Veline Red that I did, and they turned out just fine. So, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.